Good evening. Making the headlines on Mello TV Evening News at 8. Police charged with girlfriend's assault and rape. Jamaican admits to accidental killing of fellow U.S. inmate. And strong law enforcement presence remains in St. Andrews South due to high crime rate there. And now, the details. A constable stationed at the Orange Bay Police Station is facing charges of rape, assault, and destruction of property committed against his girlfriend after he found out she was unfaithful. The constable is accused of repeatedly assaulting the woman over several days, including kicking her in the mouth, injuring her face with a beer bottle, and keeping her handcuffed at their home. He is also accused of shaving her head and firing shots to intimidate her. The case will be transferred to the St. Mary's Circuit Court and the constable's bail has been extended. His next court appearance is on May 2. In other news tonight, Food for the Poor Jamaica has paid fines for two non-violent offenders, Ronaldo Ormsby and Romian Fairclough, enabling their release from St. Catherine Adult Correctional Center before Easter. Ormsby expressed gratitude for the opportunity to learn from his experience and promised to never hit a woman again. Fairclough, a public transport operator, was arrested for unpaid traffic tickets and warrants. Both men received positive reviews and were considered for early release. The charity has been annually paying fines for non-violent offenders in the spirit of the Christmas and Easter seasons. We go now to news from Hanover, where residents of Woodsville are urging Prime Minister Andrew Holness to urgently replace a collapsed bridge in the nearby Hillsbrook community. The more than 100-year-old bridge serves several communities, and its collapse has inconvenienced residents, including teachers, students, and the elderly who require medical attention. The alternative route to the community is also in deplorable condition. The Hanover Municipal Corporation has stated that it does not have the funds to repair the bridge and will need assistance from the Ministry of Local Government. Member of Parliament for Hanover Eastern, Dave Brown, has promised to address the issue. All right. Continuing with the news tonight, the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000, a project aimed at reducing travel time between Kingston and Mandeville, is set to be completed by August. Business and construction leaders are optimistic that the project will drive productivity and commerce, as it will provide efficient accessibility to central Jamaica. The project, undertaken by Chinese firm China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, is 92% complete and is expected to reduce travel time between Maypen and Williamsfield to under 15 minutes. The highway project includes the design and construction of approximately 23 kilometers of a 4-lane divided highway on a new alignment. Over in Manchester, a 51-year-old farmer and resident of the Chudley housing scheme, Anthony Williams, was fatally shot by unknown gunmen last night while he was walking home in Manchester. The police are investigating the incident. Manchester has recorded 12 murders since the beginning of the year, which is the same number as the corresponding period last year, according to police statistics. As we continue with the news tonight, a Jamaican man, Michael Phillips, has pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter charges in a United States federal prison. He faces up to 8 years in prison and a $250,000 fine for his involvement in a 2017 fight that resulted in the death of another inmate known only as TN. Phillips reportedly threw a punch that caused TN to fall into a metal locker and suffer fatal injuries. Sentencing is scheduled for July 7. And in an ongoing issue affecting farmers, parish managers from the Jamaica Agricultural Society's Western offices have reported that predial larceny remains a major issue. This was shared at the Montpelier Agricultural Show in Montpelier, St. James yesterday, Easter Monday. Otis Sherman, the JAS parish manager for St. Elizabeth, shared the extent of the damage.
So we have camera system, we have dog, we have different technical aspects. Not everything to disclose, but right now for you have to have something out there before the criminal can reach your farm. I have suffered predial larceny myself, and I've started farming who have left millions through predial larceny. I've known one farmer that had 13 cattle, and he don't get back receipt, get back one from all of what was stolen, and both by the van load, and he still continue to farm. I think what we need to do as citizens, we need a holistic approach with basically criticisms. The police want us to combine and fight the whole predial larceny aspect, because nobody can come in and steal just like that. They have to have somebody inside. So the whole JS group point about the community aspect, the whole community building, raising our village, combine together to stamp out predial larceny.
The problem is reportedly widespread across major parishes, and there is a need for increased police patrols in affected communities.
Well, it's a sore problem everywhere. Westmoreland is no different, right? You have a lot of goat farmers and cow farmers who have been affected by predial larceny.
Predial larceny is a big issue because you have a lot of, especially in North Killarney, you have a lot of persons who do livestock, and on a weekly basis you hear persons saying that they lose cattle, you have persons losing goats valued at over $300,000.
Jamaica's police and military are working together to address high crime rates in the St. Andrew South Division using ground forces and aerial surveillance. While crime rates have decreased since last year, there has been a recent increase in violent crime attributed to gang feuds, with over 40 active gangs in the area.
The St. Andrew South Division continues to be one of the more violent spaces in the country. So even with our figures below last year, we are still way above most of the other divisions in the country. Of course, we can't rest on our laurels whenever we believe that the numbers are below the year before, because again, we're way above the rest of the country. I've seen an uptick in violent incidents across the division. We have identified a number of persons we believe to be the main perpetrators behind these incidents, and as such we have released a number of names. These persons are categorized as persons of interest, as well as we have a number of persons who are wanted and can be arrested and put before the courts, and we have also released their names. We believe that these individuals are the main perpetrators behind the violence that we're seeing in the division. They range from our eastern boundaries here in Whitfield Town across to Waterhouse and Seaview. These are the areas, Cockburn Pen, these are the areas that we are having the main challenges over the last month or two.
The police are conducting interviews to gather intelligence and bring those responsible to justice, but lack of resources presents a challenge in over 30 communities at war.
With the constant threat of drive-by shootings that the uneducated culprits within the community carry out in other communities, and it leaves the other residents, the law-abiding residents, vulnerable to reprisal attacks, and sometimes these residents, out of an abundance of cautions, will erect anti-mobility barriers to prevent these kind of activities. We from time to time will move them, but again we play each street on its own merit, depending on how beneficial it will be for the police, for law enforcement. All right, I can list the areas that we have targeted already, which is Greenwich Farm. We're now in Whitfield. We're now in Whitfield Town. We intend to stop by a number of other areas. I will not say that yet. Whitfield Town is a perennial hotspot. It's one of those areas that we continuously have gang-type conflicts ongoing week after week.
The JCF recently released a list of the country's most wanted criminals.
Ronald Smith, OC Skull, of Brownsland Ashley Road address, wanted for wounding with intent. Romario Grant, OC Kaka, wanted for murder. Jermaine Richards, OC Richie, of a Penn Road address, wanted for murder. Cedric Powell frequents several areas in the St. Andrews South area, to include Bloomsbury Road and Valdez Road, wanted for murder. Christopher Dufus, OC Chipper, Oakland area, wanted for murder and wounding with intent. Raheem Brown, OC Berger, wanted for murder. Shantoni Cardis, OC Taiwan, OC Chassis, wanted for shooting with intent. Andrew Hall, OC Anton, wanted for murder. Herbert Wallace, OC Ricky, wanted for murder, is featured in the Riverton area, and robbery with aggravation. And finally, Sean Campbell, OC Ishent, wanted for murder in the Duane Park.
In news from St. James, for 7 consecutive years, Top Mart, a Montego Bay-based clothing store, has been giving back to its community. This year, on April 7, Good Friday, they distributed bun and cheese and beverages to the residents and staff at the St. James Infirmary as an Easter treat.
My name is Brian Bowen, and our privilege and pleasure to be here at the St. James Infirmary. Another day, another Good Friday. This is our 7th year that Top Mart decided to give to the resident of the St. James Infirmary bun and cheese and juice. And Mr. Ong is here with us, the CEO of Top Mart, showing his love for the people and his continued support. And we're indeed happy to be here to give these to the residents and staff of the St. James Infirmary.
The matron of St. James Infirmary, Jacqueline Wilson, expressed her appreciation for Top Mart's continuous support.
This morning is a great morning. We're surrounded by buns and cheese, juices and drinks, along with our staff members and members from Top Mart, and a beautiful lady among the males, Mrs. Janet Richards. We are happy to have you all. We are happy for this donation, which is a yearly donation. Top Mart is always looking out for the infirmary. And I must also big up Mr. Brian, who is the voice behind Top Mart. And he never ever fails us. He's always here on time, before time. Mr. Brian is a great person. He speaks highly of the infirmary, and there's a special love for the residents from Mr. Brian. So we just want to thank the family. We want to thank Mr. Philip Green, who's always behind the scene with the group, always looking out for the infirmary. So a big thank you to all of you and the manager for Top Mart. Thank you again and have a blessed Easter.
Continuing with the news tonight, Justice of the Peace Walter Walker, a well-known Juta tour operator, was involved in a motor vehicle accident on the Round Hill Main Road in Hanover. He sustained head and other injuries and was hospitalized, but has since been discharged and is recuperating at home. The accident occurred when a Toyota Fielder car collided with his Honda Caravan bus as he was leaving the Juta taxi stand at the Round Hill Sports Complex. Both vehicles were severely damaged, and the driver of the other vehicle was also hospitalized. Walker is popular in the sports community and serves as a Justice of the Peace in and around Hopewell, Hanover. A fatal motor vehicle accident occurred on the Discovery Bay Main Road in St. Anne, resulting in one death while 4 persons were injured. The deceased has been identified as 51-year-old Valerie Daly from Trelawney. The accident involved 2 cars, a Toyota Corolla and a Toyota Mark X, and took place near Green Grotto Caves at around 6 p.m. According to reports, the driver of the Toyota Mark X failed to stay on the left side of the road and collided with the Toyota Corolla, carrying Miss Daly and 3 other family members. The 5 individuals sustained serious injuries and were transported to St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.